Welcome to English Grammar 1, Unit 35, had better and its time. Had better is used to express advice, and if you don't do according to the advice, you may face a problem or danger. This is the difference between had better and should. Let's see here had better in A. I'd better, you'd better. There is apostrophe plus D, the abbreviation of would, the abbreviation of had, not would, sorry. I had better do something. It is advisable to do it, and if I don't do it, there will be a problem or a danger. Let's see the first example. I have to meet Anne in 10 minutes. Full stop. I'd better go now or I'll be late. Means I had better go now or I'll be late. The problem here is that I'll be late. So you can say I'd better go now or I'll be late. Shall I take an umbrella? Yes, you'd better. Means you had better. It might rain. If you don't take the umbrella, you may get wet. The problem that you will be wet or you will get wet. Example number 3. We had better stop for petrol soon. Means we had better stop for petrol soon. If we don't stop, the tank is almost empty. The car might stop. The problem is the problem we may face is that the car may stop. If the fuel run out, then the car may stop. That's why we had better stop for petrol soon to fill up the tank. The negative is I'd better not. And to form negative from had better, we don't use not directly after had, but we use not after better. We know that in general, had is the past of have, but here it is something different. It is used for present and future. It is not used for the past, and we don't use not with had, but we use not after better. So to make it negative, we say I'd better, and the negative will be I'd better not. Are you going out tonight? I'd better not. I have got a lot to do. You don't look very well. You'd better not go to work today. And here is advice. If you go, you might get your situation, your health might get worse. Remember that the form is had better. Usually we say I'd better, you'd better in spoken English. We use had as abbreviated. We use apostrophe plus D. I'd better phone Carol, hadn't I? And here in the question tag we use hadn't I. In the tag question we use hadn't I. Remember, I'd better, but if you want to make it negative had better, then you say had better not. You use not after better, but in the question tag you use not with had and write hadn't I. Had is normally past, but the meaning of had better is present or future. So here we don't use had better for past, but it is used for present and the future, and it is different from had, which is the past of have. So you say, I'd better go to the bank now or tomorrow. Here it is used for present and future. We say, I'd better do, not to do. And after better, we use the base form. We don't use to plus infinitive. To plus the base form. We don't use infinitive with to, but we use the base form only, the bare verb without to. So after better, we don't use to. We use the base form, and we don't use as well verb plus ing. We use the verb in the base form. It might rain. We had better take an umbrella. So here we used take, the base form, not to take the umbrella. Part B, had better and should. The difference between had better and should. Had better is similar to should, but not exactly the same. We use had better only for a specific situation, not for things in general. You can use should in all types of situations to give an opinion or to give advice. So that means had better is used for specific situations and should is used for both specific and general. Here is first example. It's late, you'd better go or you should go. Here is a specific situation, and we can use had better go or we can use should go. So in specific situations, you can use had better and you can use should as well. But in general situations, you need to use should only, don't use had better. You are always at home, you should go out more often. Here we speak in general, so we don't use had better, we use should. So the speaker says you should go out more often. Also with had better, there is always a danger or a problem if you don't follow the advice. In case of should, we don't speak about any problem or any danger. We just say what is the right thing, what is the best thing to do. Should only means it is a good thing to do. Here is a comparison. Example number 1, it's a great film. You should go and see it. If you don't see the film, there won't be any problem. So here in this case we use should because we don't speak about problems or danger. And example number 2, the film starts at 8:30. And if we speak of the film that starts at 8:30, you had better go now or you will be late. The problem here is that you will be late, and here is a specific situation, and there is a problem that you will be late. That's why the speaker here uses had better go. So to conclude in this case, we say that should is used for both specific and general, and had better is used for specific. And should speaks about right things, what is right to do, and and had better speaks about the right thing to do. If you don't do, you may face a problem or a danger. Part C, it's time. You can say it's time for somebody to means the person supposed to do something, and here we use it's time followed by to plus the base form, and so it becomes it's time to go home, means we need to go home now. It's time for us to go home. Either you put infinitive to plus infinitive after it's time directly, or you use for plus us object of the preposition plus object of the preposition, then we use to plus the base form. And if you say it's time to go home, you can understand that it it means that we, or it's time for us. But if there are anybody else to be understood, then we need to use for plus the object of the preposition for the person who's supposed to go home, or the people who are supposed to go home. So we use for plus object of the preposition, then we use to plus infinitive, to plus the base form. But you can also say as well, it's late, it's time we went home. After it's time, we have already said that we use to plus the base form, or we can use for plus object of the preposition, then to plus the base form. And here we can use also past simple, but we use subject plus verb in the past simple, so it becomes it's time we went home. And here went doesn't mean past. Here the verb is written in the past, but it refers to the present. It is used for the present. Here we use the past went, but the meaning is present, not past. So don't think of the meaning that it is past. No, the meaning is present. Although we use went, which is in the past, that means we should have already gone home for a long time ago. It's 10 o'clock and he is still in bed. It's time he got up. He is supposed to get up a long time ago. So we say it's time he got up. We use here the past simple, and it refers to a present. It refers to the present. We don't say it's time he gets up. No. If we want to say it's time, we don't use subject and verb, we use infinitive. We can say it's time for him to get up. We can say it's time for him to get up if we want to use other verb than past. Either we use the past verb if we use subject, or we use infinitive with to, or for plus object of the preposition for, and to plus the base form. It's time you did something, you should have already done it or started it. That means you are too late. You are supposed to start before some time. You are supposed to start doing this action before some time. We often use this structure to criticize or to complain, and this structure is used for criticism and for complaint. For example, it's time you did something, you should have already done it or started it. We often use this structure to criticize or to complain. It's time that children were in bed, and here we use past after the subject the children. and we mean to say that they should have slept a long time ago. It's a long after their bedtime. So we use this form to criticize someone. You are very selfish. It's time you realized that you are not the most important person in the world. Here it's time followed by the subject and the verb in the past. That means this thing should have been done a long time ago. You can also say it's about time. We can add about, the preposition about, before time, and this makes the criticism stronger. When we want to make the criticism stronger, then we need to use about before the word time. Then we say it's about time. For example, Jack is a great talker, but it's about time he did something instead of just talking. So we are criticizing him. We say that he is supposed to do something rather than speak. So to conclude this unit, we can say that we have had better is used for advice, and we use had better when we speak about specific situation and when there is a danger or a problem if we don't follow this advice, using had better plus the base form. And it is different from should, that should is used for general and specific situations, and in should and had better is used for specific situations only. And in should, in the case of should, we use it to say what is the right thing. We don't speak about problems and danger if you don't follow, but we speak about what is the right thing to do. And had better is used for specific situations, and should is used for both specific and general. The other part of this unit is about its time. We use its time followed by to plus the base form, or followed by preposition for plus noun object of the preposition plus to plus infinitive. If we speak about ourselves, then we use infinitive without using a preposition plus noun. And if it is confusing, then we use for plus noun, then we use to plus infinitive. In other cases, we can use a past instead of infinitive, past simple, but we use a subject before the verb in the past after its time. And it is used for a criticism or complaint, and to make it a stronger criticism, then we use about, and we say it's about time, and then we follow it with the subject and the past simple. And that is all for this unit. Thank you.